Please state your name and where you were born.
My name is John Godwin Chance. All the men in my family are Godwins. I don't know why, but my family is born, my parents were English born, and there was a Miss Godwin somewhere in the family, and so somewhere along the line, the boys in the family have Godwin in the marriage. It's something close to you know what, God. Something close. We didn't get there, but we close.
Nice. And where were you born?
I was born in the nation's capital, Ottawa.
What conflicts or wars did you serve in?
I served in WW2. That's the only conflict I was in. And WW2, that was my age group. My twin brother was in the Air Force, and my older brother was in the Navy before me. He was a regular force guy.
Okay.
But I got in about 1943, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
And went to King's. That's where they send all the guys to 90-day training.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't fail at King's. I got through that. And then I got into the Fairmounts. I went into Captain ML. There was a guy who, Captain ML. We had quite a few MLs, motor launches.
Mm-hmm.
And I became a captain of one of them at one time. The old 5.8 was my favorite one, the one I ended up in. And I didn't get fired, and I was not put in jail, which was an accomplishment. Some of them didn't do that, you know.
What was life like before you joined?
I went straight into the Navy from high school. I went to King's, like all the other guys did, you know. And I graduated, and I passed. I've had a lovely time in the Navy. It was my older brother Peter, in before me, and so he kind of laid the way for me. He went to Lucifer Collegiate, and then he got into the Navy. It was sort of, that's what everybody did in those days. He got into the forces, and that's what I did. Joined in Ottawa. Didn't do anything spectacular, but I survived, like the rest of us did. Mm-hmm. And here I am, in this fine place, which is a lovely town to be living in.
Your first few days in wearing your uniform, and what did that feel like when you first?
Well, I had a background of uniform. My dad was in the First World War.
Okay.
And then Pete, my brother, he was ahead of me in the Navy. So the uniforms in the Navy and military were part of my life. And there was no doubt about it that when I got to be of the right age, David, my twin brother, he got into the Air Force, and he flew bombers over Germany during the war. And I didn't do very much, but I was in the Navy during the war, in the Fairmounts. Well, I know I had a very, very happy time in the Navy. Mm-hmm. It was such a wonderful experience. And I had a lot of friends.
Some of your crew members you remember?
Well, I was an officer, you know. I went to King's, and that was the officer training school at King's in Halifax. II division, A division, B, and then AABB, and I was in II division, and we were commonly known as the Yes Men. Aye, sir.
When you graduated from King's?
King's 43, I started in 43, and we had 4 months of it there, I think.
Okay.
And I joined the Navy, and I joined the Fairmounts. Captain ML, Joe Heenan, I think, was the captain of ML, and he was the he had his headquarters in a ship berthed at Halifax. The Fairmiles were berthed in quite a few of the towns. Sydney was one, and Shelburne, and Pictou, and up in the New Glasgow area. We were pretty well off in quite a few of the ports of Nova Scotia and in wartime. And I served out of in those places.
Okay. And when you served, what was your primary job or role in your naval unit?
In a Fairmile?
Yeah.
Fairmile job?
Fairmile job.
Have a fun.
Having fun. Doing what?
Well, we never faced any combat, and if we did any damage, we could do damage to ourselves, but we had depth charges, and that was all. And I don't remember ever dropping a depth charge on any target, just for practice. And everybody was young, you know, they all the young guys in the Fairmiles, 20, 21, 20 years, 2 years old, I guess, something like that. It was an honor, a huge honor to be serving in the wars. My father was in the First World War, and my twin brother flew an aircraft in the Second World War.
Do you remember some of your tasks and or responsibilities when you were first served?
I didn't have any extraordinary things to do. I was just another one of the guys in the group, I guess. I know I was a sub-lieutenant, and then I was a lieutenant, and I was later on a commander in the Navy, Reserve, after the war. And I was the commanding officer of HMCS Cataraqui in Kingston. That was after the war. But during the war, I was a lieutenant, I think.
So as a lieutenant, you had people you were responsible for,
Living,
okay?
just stay alive.
Stay alive?
Yeah.
So did you have other officers on ship that you?
I was never sort of in a position where I was sort of like a commanding officer of a group of, I don't remember getting into that, so I was commanding officer of the Naval Division in Kingston after the war. And
You had officers with you on the Fairmile?
oh yeah, 2 officers in the Fairmont,
Okay,
yeah.
so they were your colleagues.
You know, they were 2 officers and about 14 men in the Fairmont.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
and one of them was a lifetime friend of mine, a guy by the name of George Perrin. And he joined me pretty late in the war. Oh, it was a great honor to be in the Navy during the war. And I enjoyed every moment of it.
Did you practice sailing drills and warfare drills? Or navigation?
Well, my navigation was coastal patrol. You know, we knew how to get around and stay off the rocks. I didn't run around, I don't think,
Nice.
and I didn't run into any other, but we knew the rule of the road too. We had to know the rule of the road. When you see 3 lights ahead, starboard helm and show your red. If on your starboard red appear, it's your duty to keep clear. And if you see 3 lights ahead, starboard helm and show your red. Everybody had to know the rule of the road, you know, when you get in, you don't want to get tangled up with another ship. That's dangerous.
Tell them a little bit about going to Bermuda.
I had a time in Bermuda. I was posted to Bermuda. That's a tough appointment.
You have to take the
you
tough
have to
with the
be-
good.
You have to sit in the sun all day.
Did you ever sail in really rough seas?
If the sea gets pretty rough, you don't stay outside. You come back to port. Smart foot.
Right.
No, I said, pretty all my time was in small ship, a fair miles.
Any man overboard?
No overboard. I never got overboard myself, and I didn't have to jump in after anybody.
So Chauncey, I want you to tell them a little bit about Bermuda and how you served as a pilot.
And so at one time, there was some kind of a big freighter coming in, and I was assigned to be pilot. So I was driven out in a small boat, and I was piped on board, and I went up with the captain, and I said, "Point her there." And then we went into Bermuda Harbor.
Was it a tricky navigation?
Bermuda has a bit of a current in it, I think. But I know how to get in and out of Bermuda now. And you go in on the north side, Bermuda, and you turn around, and you come back to Hamilton, Bermuda. And Hamilton is the capital of Bermuda. And so I did that. I didn't get any medal for it or a damn thing. Not even a thank you. But,
And what about the Battle of the St. Lawrence? You were up in the Gaspé. What do you remember about that? But there were German submarines in the area.
they were,
There were German submarines in the Gaspé area.
well, there were some, the odd submarine was around, I think. I don't think any submarine was attacked, or I don't recall any submarine action in the Gulf of St. Lawrence in my time, but they were in there, but German submarines got in there. I don't think they did any damage to it. I can't remember there doing any damage.
And you kept in contact, when you were in charge of the 058, when you were in command of the 058, you kept in touch with at least two of the crew members for many years after the war. Do you remember them?
The crew mayors?
The crew people that you kept in touch with?
Well, George Perrin,
George Perrin was a good friend.
yeah, he was an officer with me.
Yeah.
And, oh yes. There's a guy by the name of Sidney Victor Rimbold.
Yeah.
Sidney Victor Rimbold. He was a Porky boy. Came, I think, from perhaps London, Ontario. And Sid Rimbold was the coxswain of our ship, and he was a jolly sort of a guy, and a very fine guy.
So tell us a little bit about your seamanship abilities, because you used to tell me how you could handle that fair mile.
Well, the fair mile was 114 feet long, had about a crew of about 14 guys, plus two officers, a
Yeah.
captain and a first lieutenant.
What about ship handling?
Ship handled, we had two motors, and so it handled like a baby. They were beautiful things to handle. And when you came alongside, you could say, hard to starboard, full of stern to starboard. Well, we all liked it. Everybody who had a command of a fair mile was always wanting to show off his ability to get the ship alongside nicely, beautifully, and safely, of course.
Were you good at that?
I thought I was pretty good at ship handling.
Yeah.
We all thought we were pretty good at it, I think. And, but it was a kind of an honor to be in command of a fair mile. We had about 14 guys in the crew, and 2 officers, and a good friend of mine was this captain. He was my first lieutenant, my guy, and George Perrin.
Kingston is a big military city. What was your life like when you were CO of Cataraqui?
CO of Cataraqui? Well, CO was a nice job for anybody. You know, I was CO of Cataraqui when I was commander, and they just come along because it's just your turn, you know. You're in the lineup, and when somebody dies or quits or something, you become the next one. So I became captain of Cataraqui, and I had a lot of wonderful people with me. All those reserve in the Navy are great places. You know, do you hang around the reserve Navy? They're a good place to be. And I had a very good time in Cataraqui. I enjoyed it very much. And so when I go back to the cat, notice the cat.
Yeah.
Social life in Kingston?
So tell them a little bit about bringing in the U-889 at Shelburne.
The 889 at Shelburne, yes. The 889 came into Shelburne at the end of the war, and I was based at Shelburne. I was the captain of a Fairmile, and I guess I and maybe a couple of other Fairmiles went out to meet it, and we escorted it into Shelburne Harbor, in the way down the southwest corner of Nova Scotia. You feel pretty good, you know. It made me feel big. We brought it into Shelburne, and I guess one thing was that the German guys on board were pretty damn happy to be on a Canadian land, and the next day or two they'd be on a plane back to Germany to see their families again. Yeah, it was all over. It was not what it been.
What did you do with the 058?
We sailed the old 5-8 back to Quebec City, stayed overnight at a big hotel there, courtesy of the Canadian government. And then we sailed up to Sorel, I think. And then we left it at anchor at Sorel with a whole lot of other ships at the end of the war. They were lying at anchor, ready for disposal of war assets.
And then what did you do?
I went to Queen's.
Right.
I came back to Queen's University. I'm a Queen's boy. Arts 49 is my year in Arts 49. And I'm proud to say that I'm the president of Arts 49 at Queen's University. And you know what? I will always be the president of Arts 49. No more elections. So I can wear the title till my dying day. So Queens was a wonderful place. And
What was the food like on board ship?
I never ever complained about food. You know, they talk about rotten food and chips, but I didn't encounter that.
What was your favorite port visit or shore run?
All I know is that I had a darn good time. We all had a good time. Roll along, wavy navy, roll along. Remember that?
Yeah.
I'll sing it to you. Roll along, wavy navy, roll along. Roll along, wavy navy, roll along. We'll fire shot and shell, and we'll blow them all to hell. Roll along, wavy navy, roll along.
Do you have a favorite moment from serving?
My Navy career was full of happiness. You know, I went to King's. We all went to King's for a 90-day course or whatever it was. And then we joined our various appointments. I went straight into the small ship, Captain ML.
Yeah.
Captain ML was a guy who was a captain. And he had his headquarters in Halifax in a ship. And I'm trying to think of his name. Can't think of his name right now. But he was Captain ML. And the FRMLs were based all around Nova Scotia, New Brunswick. There were quite a few of us. And I started off as a third officer. And it didn't take too long to become a captain of a Fairmont. They weren't shooting them off. Or it just seemed pretty fast. I was a captain of a Fairmont pretty soon after, as soon as I got there.
What were the bunks like where you slept?
Well, I slept in a bunk, and it was there were one and one. There were 4 bunks in the cabin for the officers in a fair mile, but usually there were only 2 officers. And so I slept in a bunk, and just like any other bunk, it was a good bunk. I slept well in the bunk. And being in the Navy was a huge, huge happy experience to be there.
Yeah.
And I never shot at anybody, and nobody shot at me, but it was just a great experience to be in the war.
Do you have any questions for me? Or anything?
Questions for you?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
No?
But you know what? Lieutenant Commander is a lovely rank to wear on your sleeve. It's the best one. You can get more of them, but the Lieutenant Commander is a beautiful rank and a beautiful wing to wear.
Do you want to tell them just this little story that you've often told me about how when you were giving orders from the bridge and George Perrin was on the deck and you would say, "Let go aft." What did he say? You tell them that story.
George Perrin, my friend, lifetime friend, and he became a junior officer on board. And when we were coming aboard, he said, "Let go aft." And then George Perrin would say, "You heard him, let go aft." Oh,
And you went to Queens at the same time?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Is he gone?
Yeah.
That's what happens to us. I'm still here, though. And I'm not going. The hell with that.
Do you remember that church service you went to in Bermuda?
There was a big general. He came to the same church service that I was at.
Yeah.
We sat in the same pew, maybe.
Why did the Fairmiles go down to Bermuda? Because there was a
I don't
flotilla,
know.
wasn't there?
I don't know, but we had a Fairmount down there. I was serving in a Fairmount.
You were part of a flotilla.
Yeah, there was 3. I think there was 3 of us. 3 boats down there. We were known as boats, not ships.
I don't know much about your personal life, but how did you meet your wife?
How did I meet my wife?
Yeah.
Happily. Marty Mace. And she was a nursing sister in the Navy, serving in Kingston. Where was she serving?
Stadacona.
Stadacona. We fell madly in love.
Oh.
My wife came from Saskatchewan. Yeah. And Mako came along when I married her.
Huh?
This is Michael, my
Is it?
baggage. Michael was the baggage.
You could tell them that story about Mom.
Yeah,
Mom was a great shopper.
right.
Mom loved to shop.
Michael was nice to shop. So what else?
So you said she came with baggage.
Oh, she came with baggage.
When did you retire from the Navy?
Well, when the war ended, I guess I retired. And I was the captain of HMCS Cataraqui. I think it was 1960, because we moved from Kingston at that date. And that's when I had to leave the Navy. There was no Navy in Brockville.
No, not really.
So I hung up my uniform about the 1st of January 1960. That was the date we moved.
And what did you do in civilian life?
Well, I worked for DuPont for a while,
Ah,
for quite a while. And I was just one of the boys for DuPont. And worked in various towns, villages, and cities. And I've been retired a long time now, I think. I'm getting old. How old am I, Michael?
you're old enough to vote anyway, eh?
I'm old enough to vote. Yeah.
What are some changes that you've seen in your lifetime that you thought, wow, I never thought I'd see something like that?
Well, I came across this guy. He came into my life quite late. Oh, when did you come into my life, Michael?
1952.
1952.
John, you got a lovely singing voice.
Yeah.
And would you give us the honor of singing a little song to finish this interview off,
You want me to sing a song?
please?
What did we sing when on Easter, when you had your placemat in the dining room and there was the placemat had Easter eggs on it?
Oh,
And
yeah.
what did you
In your
sing to
Easter
the
bonnet?
ladies?
Or
In your Easter bonnet, with all the frills upon it, I'll be the proudest fellow in the Easter parade. I'll be all in clover, and when they look you over, I'll be the proudest fellow in the Easter parade. On the avenue, Fifth Avenue, photographers will snap us, and you'll find that you're in the road of graveyard. I'll be all in clover, and when they look you over, I'll be the proudest fellow in the Easter parade. Great. Oh dear.
I think you've got a new career.
Put more pressure on
I like to croon. I like to croon, you know.
My name is Drew.
Bruce?
Drew.
Drew.
Yes, short for Andrew.
Oh, short for him.
Very nice to meet you. Did you ever meet Admiral Pullen? Hugh Pullen?
Sure.
Yeah.
Everybody knows you pulling.
Well, a few years ago, I met Mr. Pullen, I met Willie, and he asked me, I was going to command at the time, I had just been informed I was to be the captain of HMCS Fredericton. And he asked if I have a telescope, and I said, to look at the stars, or, he said, no, a telescope for the bridge, for the officer of the watch. I said, well, Willie, we use binoculars now. And so I said, no, I don't have one. So he went into his storage cupboard, and he came out carrying this, and it has a mahogany stand with two brass dolphins, and the telescope actually rests on the tails of the dolphins.
Of course.
Well, as one does, right? And he opened it, and it says H.F. Pullen, RCN, and he thinks his dad got this in England when he was training on board HMS Hood between the wars, as a young midshipman or maybe a very young sub-lieutenant. So, but I took it to Willie's funeral, showed his granddaughter and some of the cousins and things, but it passed on to me because none of the Pullen children or grandchildren joined the Navy. So it was, I guess being Hugh Pullen's kid was an antidote for wanting to join the Navy.
It's nice to see a real Navy captain.
You make me feel very special when
It's the best, it's the best of the uniforms, isn't it?
I agree. Yeah, of course. Not as nice as the uniform that you wore, I have to say. It had a bit of the 8 buttons and a little more panache. I really like that you've got your blazer badge on. I have one of those as well, but the red crown for me because I wasn't a reservist. So.
And what brings you to Kingston today?
We're here.
Now,
Well, you brought me to Almonte today, yeah, or to visit with you and to meet you. I was planning to come earlier, but I left you in Adam's capable hands, young upcoming naval officer.
Yeah?
So no, just to meet you and to hear a little bit about you.
No.
So that's what brings me here.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Yes, I'm in Almonte,
Yeah, I think so.
Almonte.
Almonte. That's the original pronunciation.
I don't
It
know.
was named after a Spaniard, I think.
Mexican.
Mexican general, yeah.
Yeah, Mexican general, which is a strange reason to name a town in
yeah,
Ontario.
well,
I never knew that. That's interesting.
Do you remember what the medals are for?
These are service medals.
Okay.
They come out of the general service medals,
You can point out which one was which.
which you can't do that.
You can't?
I don't.
I could do it.
You,
I know.
you know what it is.
So this one is the 1939-45 medal, which you got for General War Service. This is the Atlantic Star.
Yeah.
Or I should say 1939-45 Star. Atlantic Star. This is the Canadian Volunteer Service Medal, and you got the bar if you served overseas. This is the War Medal. And then this is the Canada 125 Medal for the 125th anniversary of Canada. And then this is the Canadian Forces Decoration for this is our service medal for 12 years of service. So
CD.
the CD, yeah.
CD.
And you must have been one of the first Queen Elizabeth CDs
Could be.
because she was 52. 53 she took the throne,
Yeah.
and you joined in 43. 43.
yeah.
43.
Yeah, so you would have you're in the first several years that they started issuing the medal with her Majesty on instead of her dad.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, you got her dad on the war medal.
yeah.
Yeah. Very
Proud
nice.
of my medals.
Well,
We're all proud of our medals.
there's not a huge number of people wearing these 4 medals anymore
Is that right?
that are still around. No,
Is that right?
no,
They've gone.
they have, but
I'm not going.
that's the right attitude, I think, sir.
It is, sir.
Roll along, wavy navy, roll along. Roll along, wavy navy, roll along. We'll fire shot and shell, and we'll blow them all to hell. Roll along, wavy navy, roll along. Roll along, wavy navy, roll along. Roll along, wavy navy, roll along. We'll fire shot and shell, and we'll blow them all to hell. Roll along, wavy navy, roll along.